And now that I know that I am live, hello everybody! Welcome back to the PUWP Pride Marathon. My name is Sacredhooves, and it is my pleasure to introduce you today one of the best things I have ever had the pleasure of playing. This is Metroid Rogue Dawn coming up for you. Let me just silence my Discord for y'all. Let's load up our game. And a little history about this while we load up. There we go. Alrighty, so brief history about Metroid Rogue Dawn before we begin real quick, just so I can get it off my back. Off my thoughts. I don't know why that's up there. Metroid Rogue Dawn was made this year, January 17th, 2017, by 3 people who had very excellent talent. Grimlock Arts is the head of the project, Snarf Bland provided the coding, and Optimon provided all the excellent music you're about to hear today. Now, I'd like to point out one thing, and that's in resolution to this wonderful thing that says -7 up here. That is set for the optimization of the run, so we begin exactly and perfectly on frame when we're supposed to for an accurate, complete total of a real estimated time run. That nonsense out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to bring you, hopefully in sub 30, in 3, 2, 1. Okay, it did start. Did it start the right way, though? It did! Okay. So this is Metroid Rogue Dawn. This is the starting area, where you'll come from the Hibernation Chamber. You'll have an armory where you can get your first pack of missiles if you like, the main core, the sick bay control room, and then you'll have planetary access lifts 1 and 2. The first thing you want to do is take access number 2, and keep on rolling in Morph Ball mode, because this will give you the most acceleration of foot power throughout the game, if you can help it. Now comes one of the biggest challenges this run has to date. This is called the Pinball Wizard. And it's literally a bunch of bounces that land you perfectly over on this ledge. Crap. That's why this run stinks. That is a very debilitating maneuver here. What we're trying to do is we're trying to access our bombs as soon as we can, and the fastest way to do it is to do this trick. You're basically trying to fight not only gravity, the mechanic itself, but that gamer that camps the edge too. You know, I had a lot of practice trying to do this, but it just does not always work correctly the first time through. And as you can see, sometimes after a long drop per se or something, the manipulation of, as you can see, there we get it, the manipulation of where you want to go gets a little screwed, so it doesn't always work correctly. I apologize, I'm not good with words. So as you can see, we fell down through the secret passage over here to this little lake, which, by the way, that is acid, so try not to drop into it. And we found bombs. Now that's just the beginning of the run. Once we get bombs, we're off to get an energy tank, and we're off to get high jump, which thankfully is all in the same area, with just a little bit of maneuvering to do. Now, this is our first of 2 E-tanks that are a necessity for this run, and this is what helps keep it in with the under, the 30-minute parameter, is by taking these 2 energy tanks and basically hunkering down with every last bit of life force you have, trying not to waste it on minute stupid things of damage. Unfortunately, this is the name of the game, is minute stupid damage is gonna happen a lot. Things you don't want to have hit you will hit you, and especially when it's inconvenient to you. It's always a pleasure. So our next section coming up is, if I can actually believe this correctly, is a water section. It took me a while to wrap my head around this area, but this is the direction to go for high jump. We used to go this way to start the game, but since this is now the 1.2 version, we now use the Morph Ball passage to go to bombs first, as it is a little bit quicker than going to high jump first. Also, the updated model with the Aqua suit, per se, is an update to the 1.2. There is also a new game plus, when you finish the game, that will allow you to start with you already get Morph Ball, excuse me, Wave, Spring Ball, and a customized Zero suit for Dawn, the avatar of the game. So as you can see, this underwater section, you are pretty floaty, and it works to your advancement, but try not to spin jump while you're in the water. It gives you so much major slowdown. And as anyone who plays Metroid knows, and spin jump is started by going in the direction you want to go and pressing jump. So to avoid stuff like that, what you want to do is you want to ever so slightly tap the jump button before you begin to move. This will get you that forward arc that won't give you the spin result out of it. As you can see, makes life a heck of a lot easier to move around. Few short hops like that, and now we got high jump. High jump is critical because this is going to help us reach the higher up areas, and when we get Spring Ball, it is also going to make it a lot easier for us to make the jumps we need. Spring Ball is a necessary tool, and we'll get to explaining that when we get to Spring Ball. Now we have our next two major objectives, which is to get something new that's been added to the game besides Spring Ball, and ladies and gentlemen, it is actually something that does not stink. Wall jumping. Now, I know what it may sound like at first. Wall jumping, this can't be good. Trust me when I say this, wall jump is going to be one of the most useful things in this game, if just because it makes balancing your path out a lot easier when you can actually grip onto something. It's just a matter of getting to it. Which thankfully is just another shortcut away, and is on the other side of that barricade. So all we gotta do is make our way back through this, and as you can see we have pretty comfortable health pools thanks to the energy tank. Otherwise, this is where originally when the 1.0 version came out, this is where runs get a little tricky because you started to run low in health and you had to go to bombs, and there's not really any refill stations nearby that. However, going through this crack in the wall will actually drop you by one. And the nice thing about these is for about every 40 energy you absorb, you'll gain one missile. So if you need a few extra missiles to go somewhere, they're not a bad spot to go. So as you can see, a few jumps through here, out this passage, and we are now on the other side of the wall where we were coming back from high jump. And now, the wall jump challenge. Usually we had missiles to go through here and they kill them in one shot, but a few bombs take out the first one, you'll lock these four over here, and interestingly enough, that one will move out of the way, so you don't have to fight those two. Usually we had to fight them, now we don't. And now we have wall jump. So now from here, our next objective is going to be take out the Ridley of the game. He's actually one of the Galactic Federation troopers that was sent in to quote-unquote investigate the planet, which I invite you to actually download this game from romhacking.net and actually check it out yourself, because the README will give you so much more information on the actual game itself and its story. Alright, so we have our first pack of missiles. These missiles are very important in order to open Ridley's door. Every door that requires opening now costs 5 missiles. Originally, when the game was released, every door that led to a major area/boss cost 10. So, originally, our route required us having about 15 to 20 missiles to begin with. But now, just the 5 missile costs around the board, we have a few refill stations on the way to Ridley that will actually benefit us from using them. But if we have enough energy, we can probably power through to the second one and ignore the first one. So now we take our wall jump and head back to the elevator, and instead of going up it, we're going to go to the right, and this will start our journey to the computer labs, aka Ridley's area. This area is currently just an underwater marsh, more or less, and serves as the, quote, I guess you want to say Brinstar of the area? I couldn't remember if he said it was Brinstar or Norfair, one of the two. And unfortunately, there is a lot of long hallways in this game where optimization of rolling around is not exactly the best to have. It is tricky. Alright. The computer hideout. Yeah, I usually get hit by that guy on the way through, and that one. So you'll blast open this wall, and you'll start on the path, the secret path, towards Ridley. There is a more convoluted way to get to Ridley. This is just the quickest. And this one has actually been around since the start, and I found it since the 1.0 patch. In 1.2, a release was made to give you more secret passages, aka the one that we used to get to wall jump. I just used more missiles than necessary. I hope I can get a refill in this room. Dang it, come on. Thank you. Rule 1, conserve your ammo. Alright. So a few drops later, boom. Here's that secret refill system you need to know about. This one's necessary more than the first one, because this will allow you to refill your 5 missiles, plus waste them to restore any energy you lost on the way to Ridley. This is very important to do, as you need the maximum amount of energy you can hold up to this point, which is 199, in order to handle this fight pretty safely. Because we are going to do something called tank. So first, fight your way to the platform, and then lay those bombs. The good news is, with every single bomb you're laying, you're preventing damage being done to you by anything in the room, except for hazards like spikes and electricals. So do keep this in mind. But a few bomb drops later, as you can see, the Ridley clone blows up. You get a little victory music, and you get a little message about the captain who's, explaining how he's trapped here, how they were sent to destroy the big Metroid that's down below, and that this little capsule here, which is known as the beta, the cells needed to activate in alpha to destroy it and clone it. Yay! So now not only we have cloning materials, we have stuff to kill it, while it clones it. I hope science never actually gets that powerful. With the lead Federation soldier out of the way, we can now head back up and start our way towards our next area. The Boneyard! This is going to be another major damage-taking area, as you're not supposed to be in this area, A, without Varia, and B, without going to, without being ready to go to the final area. But we need Spring Ball in order to do 2 things. 1, move us faster, and then 2, more importantly, it's actually going to help us get into Kraid's secret door area so we can just go straight to him, versus having to go around a huge temple. Ever since the addition of this and me finding it, we have saved a total of 6 minutes off the run within the whole area of Kraid. It's been amazing to find the time saves in this game, and it's absolutely astounding to see how far I've actually been able to make it come. The first original ever speedrun I've done was 1 hour and 25 minutes, and I had to get assistance to get out of an area I got myself stuck in. Since then, I've been whittling away at the numbers, just very slowly. Alright. First things first, we're heading up the shaft, way back up. We're going to use wall jump to enter the biohazard biological weapons vault. 2 things are hitting here. We're going to get 1 on the way by and 1 on the way back through. So you're going to go through this one, and this will lead to the biological weapons deployment lift number 1, aka the Boneyard. This is the area before the final area, the Beta Zone. Or, as I have prominently called it for a long time since before the 1.2 patch, Area Trolley 1, as it seemed to be the number 1 cause of run-ending things. So as you can see, this is called the Boneyard for a reason. Anything you touch here is going to do an instant almost 20 damage to you, And anything else as an enemy can do an instant anywhere between 10 to 15 damage too. Sometimes 5. Depends on the enemy. Energy conservation. Energy conservation. It's not that difficult of a word to say, but when you're trying to use it in a long sentence, it doesn't always work. Energy conversation. Well, conserve as you go. As I am tripping over my own tongue more than necessary. So Spring Ball activates 2 things. 1, you now have the ability to morph in midair, and obviously, you can bounce. What's even better about this is Morph Ball moves you just a little bit faster than your foot power, so now you can actually bounce around with a little bit more momentum. This is the purpose of Spring Ball in this game. A good thing with Spring Ball too is if you're in the air, and let's say you need to make an instant drop somewhere, if you press down while you're falling, you can enter Morph Ball mode and increase your acceleration. It is so awesome, especially using it on drops like this. Land just a few seconds from the elevator, press the up button, and you're on your way. It's optimizations like that that have just been pretty much the struggling point of trying to get Rogue Dawn down to its, bits and pieces. Speaking of bits and pieces, I'm down to 63 health out of 199. That's not exactly ideal. That's okay. We have just enough to survive the main core trek, and in order to get into the Kraid area. Up next, we're going to the Deep Jungle Temples. In order to get that, first things first, you gotta go through the main core. This section is another heavy damage dealing section, if just because of the energy coils. Do not, under any circumstances, touch those coils. You are not going to love your health afterwards. It's an astonishing 20 health unsuited from Varia, and if you have Varia, which by the way is in the Deep Jungle, you can take it down to 10. And Varia is more of a recommendation than a necessity for first-time runners, just so you can get used to feeling out how you're going to take damage and getting your movements down, especially if you want to consider running this game. Once you get your confidence up and you know what you're doing, feel free to nix Varia in favor for this next power tank we're going to find. Energy tank that we will find after defeating Kraid. But if you can survive to Kraid's area, good news, there's actually hope at the bottom, in the form of energy. And you're definitely going to want to top off to 199, because the trek, while easy, the fight is not exactly golden easy. See, Kraid is going to be a very small annoyance if just because he's going to be tucked away in a corner, you can't really abuse too well like we did the Ridley fight. And this is the one reason we needed Spring Ball in order to get up here without having to try to sit there and bomb run, which doesn't always work. So what you do is you come up here, slide into this hole that you bomb open, say hi to Kraid's mouth, and now we are inside the Kraid fight. Where your bomb placement is literally going to be the difference between your life and death during this fight. But as you can see, we bombed them very quickly and efficiently, so even though I had that small little loss at the start of this run, this is actually going quite favorably, because now we only have 2 major things left before we can finish the game, which is awesome. So on your way out, you're going to pick up this energy tank. This will give you the maximum 299 you need to tackle the final area, as long as you're very confident. Again, very confident means you have to be very willing to go very, very far and deep in order for this to work perfectly. And I cannot tell you the amount of runs I've lost just to Kraid alone trying to get the practice in for his fight. Whew. Now, a me of 3 months ago would probably be questioning right now why I left without Varia, and I have the answer to that one. I'm feeling crazy. Plus, this is the necessary need it takes to get to that sub-30 golden zone without using heavy, which are still in the game, by the way, if you're willing to find them, heavy, major glitches that will allow you to bypass a couple parts in the final area and pretty much essentially skip the final boss. Grimlock was feeling very generous about leaving them in just because he wanted to, quote, let speedrunners find something interesting to them. And to that junction, I agree. Let a speedrunner decide what's best for them, but at the same time, still keep options open for other people. So this game can actually cater to all kinds of people. The completionist can find many different things if they're willing to take the time to go and look. If time allows, and I will be allowed to afterwards, I'm going to do a quick save at the final area, just to have a save file nearby the boneyard, so I can get back here to get to the top real quick. If the event people will, allow me, there is a secret area I would like to show off, if, again, time allows, but we are already kind of tight as it is. So that's our Ice Beam. Obviously necessary to kill Metroids, it's the only reason we get it. Otherwise, we would go completely iceless and get to the final boss. However, this wouldn't be called Metroid Rogue Dawn without having Metroids in it, wouldn't it? We'll talk about those shortly, those lovely little jellyfishes. So the boneyard here got reconstructed for 1.2 to take out a lava path. So I found a new way around it, and this would be the room you would normally go up in. This is the new path, so what you do is you spring jump over here. You'll come to this area. I've used this wonderful little glitch to allow you to get past that ledge. And we got one more for the sake of a couple extra seconds. And we are now on the top of the boneyard. So, entering this section, this is a pre-note. You want to come in with at least 40 missiles, and pray you miss none of your shots. Although, I will take the fact that the Lock 2 triggered for some reason, without question. This is something I have named Gear Check because I don't know its actual name. Who is very annoying to hit as he takes more damage as... well, not more damage. He gets faster the more damage you do to him. But after the 30-second shot, he will go down without a fuss. I'm just going to quickly restock to 50 missiles out of a necessity, because this area is going to get very unfriendly fast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Beta Zone, aka Area Trolley 1. This area is going to test you in a lot of ways, if just because the Metroids are very unforgiving when they get a hold of you, and you have to act very fast. But the payouts for killing them are pretty decent. They drop 30 missiles or 30 life, whatever they feel like dropping. What you really want is to get your missile count up to the maximum you can hold, and then try not to get stuck with any more Metroids in your path, aka freeze everything. They also make great stepping stools. Obviously, if a missile drops, or if you're low on health and health drops, grab it. You're going to need it. Again, this area can be either very friendly or very unforgiving very fast. In this next room, what I try to do is... that never actually works. So, that's a surprise. Can I squeeze value? Nope. And that's another thing about this area. Always know when you have to actually unload a pound of missiles on something, if just because you get stuck. And that only comes, unfortunately, through practice, timing, and knowing everything. Which... it's taken me this long to figure this much out. And the game's been out for 6 months! So for this section, even though it causes a lot of lag, what I try to do is I try to run the gauntlet of Metroids, save for the last couple too. I freeze the rest of them. If just because A, we're concerned about our time, and B, obviously you want to go fast, but you have to deal with these guys. So, deal with them. Just as carefully as possible. The nice thing about this section is there is a lot of shortcuts. So if you're willing to spend the time to look for them, that was a nice save. We just saved 10 seconds of not falling back down to do that again. Holy crap. Ugh. This one bit actually eats a little bit. Now introducing the new enemy. These shooting little annoyances that are in the final boss room. They're gonna do 30 damage to us unsuited, and there's a lot of them that can add up fast. So we kinda need to make through this room post-haste. Morph ball through that one section, because it is a morph luck tunnel. And just make your way over to this side. And we are just about on our final approach. As you can notice though, we're pretty down on our health pools. I'm not too concerned about it, if just because I know I can freeze these Metroids off, I have my max missiles, and if I keep going, I have a refill station not too far up ahead. That will be my saving grace here. Side note, these jellyfish Metroids, if you jump off the jellyfish portion, don't hurt you. However, if you jump off the actual vines, you're going to cause yourself 30 damage. Do keep this in mind when you're trying to navigate this area, as it can be quite tricky. Take a quick sip, then the fun begins. This little ledge gives you the least amount of leg possible for the room below, so we use it. And this is the approach. This is going to be the most annoying, second most annoying room in the game. Now, how could this possibly be the second most annoying? Because we're about to go see the most annoying room in the game. Again, enter on full as full possible. If you cannot enter on full, it is going to be very hard. Get around you. Now, at random, this spot here will sometimes spawn an additional Metroid. So there will be 3 Metroids instead of the 2 that come out of there. So each Zepatite horn here takes 8 shots. And try to count off your shots evenly. As you see, that is... Oh, hold on. Do that. And I just need 1 pack of missiles and I will care less. Thank you very much. Let's do this. Alright. So we hop behind this guy. And I would like to make a personal note about this. This is not an easy way to do this fight by any means whatsoever. But it is the safest way to do this without Varia. Alright, it's almost time. There it is! We just might make it, holy crap! Ugh, that hitbox is tight as nuts, but that does not matter. Right now, the most important thing is you have 999 seconds to haul your butt from the final area to the escape pod that the Federation is leaving you behind. And this is where the run can go very, very bad, if just because of one thing. Metroids! This first room's not too bad, as long as you stick towards the middle, and again, use the trick that allows you to morph ball and throw yourself down to give you extra momentum to the bottom. But yeah, you have just not enough time to actually fully understand everything. This game is going to just destroy you if you don't get out of here. And I've actually failed getting out of here before. It is debilitating to see it happen. Especially when you're on pace. Which I can confidently say, ow, get off me. Provided I don't get suckled to death by a Metroid, we are on time. Whew. Alright, 2 major rooms left. Pop, pop. And now for the worst thing in the world, the climb. Because what good Metroid game would not be complete without it? At this moment, because I know I'm going to make it, I would like to stop and thank the event organizers for allowing this run to be in, and more importantly, the event organizer is the reason I pushed so hard for this one goal. It's going to be mere seconds and one screw-up away, but ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Metroid Rogue Dawn in sub 30. And just real quick, we're going to see this cutscene. This goes through... We now see behind the scenes the final credits of Ridley explaining to Dawn that, thank you so much, you know, you've got my stuff. You've done what I've asked you to do. This is now Dawn's thoughts. The Federation will never rest so long as Ridley wields the power of the Metroid. Our destruction is inevitable. I will not blindly follow. And with that thought in her head, she chooses her own destiny by setting in an unknown course to be lost forever with the Metroid. Also, I am sorry you came back at the last possible second, but overall, it was a very, very good run. And as you can see, boom, we can see a little precursor of Samus's first Zero mission happening to Zebes as we leave. And obviously we have these whole list of credits, but the most defining moment I want to look at, and I'm going to fast forward to it for the net so we can get on to the next thing. There's the undeniable proof. Give or take 1 minute or two, or 30 seconds give or take, that IGT can be translated to a real time of 2846 almost, accurately. That is very impressive in my opinion, as far as the way this has come. Well, on that note, it has been a very wonderful pleasure to have done this for you guys. This has been a great marathon. I love watching it. It's amazing. I cannot wait to see what's next. I'm actually trying to pull up who's next, so that way I can let you guys know. Also, Slash is the next person ready to go. Alright, the next person is ready to go. Well, thank you very much for joining us, folks. It's been a pleasure to entertain you. See you next mission. Ladies and gentlemen, I hand you off now to the guest, and please enjoy empowering up with pride.